Hey.
This is a cool surprise.
Yeah, you know, I took some time off during the new year, but I'm back making content, so... yeah. Alright, it's getting awkward, so I'm just gonna go make a video. Okay, bye. G'day guys, how are you all doing today? First video of the year, we actually made it through 2021, and what a year that was. Now I could use this time today to reflect back on the year that's just gone by, but if I'm completely honest, I'm good. I mean, I'm just trying to look forward. The last 2 years have been challenging for everyone, but things are getting better. I'm sure that 2022 is going to be a perfect year. Wow, that acts like milk. But even though last year was a bit of a blur with all sorts of things happening, one positive to come out of the year were the movies that were released. There were heaps of great movies that came out. You got Tom and Jerry, The Kissing Booth 3, The Addams Family 2, He's All That. What the heck? Lewis! What? I said the good releases. That's all opinion based anyway. You think He's All That was a good movie? Thought Addison Rae was good in it. Fine, if they're your good movies, then give me your bad ones. Alright, well there's only really one that comes to mind. Dear Evan Hansen. Whoa, whoa, whoa. What are you going against Dear Evan Hansen? That movie was laughable, unbearable to watch, just overall bad. Hey, don't say anything bad against Dear Evan Hansen. And to think I gave you this job. Alright, firstly, I'm an intern, and secondly, I'm the only one that applied for this position. Words fail. Words truly fail. You know what? I'm out of here. Alright, fine. Good for you. And I'm not coming back. Okay, but just remember, you'll be found. Dear Evan Hansen is a 2021 movie musical based off the award-winning musical of the same name. It seems like most musicals are getting this kind of treatment now. I mean, in 2021 you had In the Heights, everyone's talking about Jamie, West Side Story, sort of. Which I think is great. I love musicals, and having that chance to take that story that was on stage and then put it to screen, I think is really cool. I also think it's cool that more people get to see that story, if it's in the way of the recorded production of Hamilton in 2020, or just a live-action, non-staged version of the show. But here's the thing. Sometimes when adapting a stage show into a movie, it can have disastrous results. Cats, anyone? I mean, who thought this was going to be a good idea? I mean, who? Here we go! When I first saw the trailer for Cats, I literally just thought it was some sketch from a late night show. Then a few months later, I saw a poster for it at the cinema and I was just like, why would you make that a movie? I mean, the stage show itself...
3 hours later.
The concept, it's like...
3 weeks later.
They just look so...
1 eternity later.
It's almost insulting to the source material.
Many months later.
I mean, James Corden, that's a little bit...
So much later that the old narrator got tired of waiting and they had to hire a new one.
Okay. The point I'm trying to make is, people are comparing Dear Evan Hansen and Cats as equally bad, which... I'm sorry, but they are not on the same level. People are calling Dear Evan Hansen horrible, awful, laughable, unbearable to watch, and the worst movie musical of all time. On the other hand, people are also calling Dear Evan Hansen amazing, breathtaking, powerful, heart-wrenching, fantastic, and one of the best movie musicals of all time.
By all accounts, it doesn't make sense.
You said it. Quite the divided opinion. Now, I love the musical Dear Evan Hansen. I don't think I've stated that already. Hey, don't say anything bad against Dear Evan Hansen. But I do. I think it's got a great story with relatable characters and a banger score, so what more could you really ask for? I've never actually seen the stage show, but I have read the book, which I would highly recommend. It's very good, and I love the music. 'Cause all that it takes is a little reinvention. I know that the trailer for the film had already people a little bit divided for obvious reasons. I mean, the memes were everywhere. But I knew that the story being told was probably going to overshadow
any small flaws that might have been in the movie. Now you're probably wondering, if you're so passionate about the film, why haven't you made a video about it yet? I mean, it came out in September. Well, firstly, I wouldn't say I'm passionate about it.
Easy to change if you give it your attention.
And secondly, this film didn't actually come out until December here, which is a bit of a bummer, but when I finally did get to see the film on opening day, I went with a friend to the cinema, and no joke, we were the only two seeing the film. So, what did I think of the film? Honestly, yeah, I thought it was really good. I mean, you might think I'm biased because I loved the story before seeing the film, but that's not necessarily true, because there's been a lot of people that loved the musical and hated the movie. I, on the other hand, thought the movie was pretty good. But it is one of those films I can see both sides to. I can understand why some people might hate it, and while others might love it, like myself. So let's look at the first problem people have with the film, being the story. The biggest problem people have with the story is that Evan's character is too unlikable. However, I feel like this isn't really the film's fault, and more of the original musical's intent, because this is just an adaptation of the musical. Evan's character and all of the choices he makes is the center of the story. Changing that would mean changing the whole movie. This is a good argument to make. Yes, Evan's character in this film does make a lot of poor decisions, and I don't think any of those actions can be justified. Although what I think makes the story of Dear Evan Hansen so relatable is that Evan's character is not perfect. In fact, he's far from it. But even though the movie can't really change a drastic thing like that, does it still improve on the original story? I mean, to a certain extent, yeah, I think sometimes it did. I mean, I'm not trying to defend Evan. I'm not. No, I'm not saying what he did was good. I'm just trying to...
Run.
But you do see how his actions did transpire into the worst case scenario. He never meant to make it such a mess. He never thought it would go this far.
So I just stand here, sorry, searching for something to say.
Alright, fine. I hear it now. It's annoying. Ah, so you're finally admitting to being annoying. Okay, I promise I will try and stop quoting the musical. You will stop. Okay, fine.
So while the movie doesn't do too much to try and fix his character, I don't think it's really that necessary, because it's the whole point of the musical in the first place. Evan's not a perfect character, and that's okay. But in areas where they could fix his character, I actually think they did. At the end of the movie, Evan tracks down a tape of Connor playing a guitar at a support group, which had been previously foreshadowed. It was really a nice touch, because in the musical, it does foreshadow that Evan is going to try and do better, but then it ends and we never get to see that progress. But in the movie, we do, and we see him helping the Murphys without lying. It's a small touch, but I do really think it improves on his character. But there is still one big glaring issue with Evan's character, and it isn't really even Evan himself, it's more the person portraying him being Ben Platt. Platt played Evan Hansen in the original Broadway production of the show. He does it so well. He did an incredible job of portraying this socially awkward teenager with his performance, body language, and delivery of lines, perfectly replicating someone with social anxiety and depression. Even when he sings, you can actually hear that anxiety in his voice. It's amazing in the stage show. And he carried that experience from the stage show to the movie, except there's just one problem. Ben Platt has kind of aged out of the role.
I think, sorry.
He doesn't really look like a teenager now, so when he's making these mistakes and lies to this family, it's harder to believe this is a teenager making these choices. It's harder to extend your disbelief to a certain extent. Everyone else looks like they could be in school. I know they're all in their 20s, but if I saw one of these people walking around my school, I wouldn't even question it. However, Ben doesn't really look like a high schooler anymore. I mean, in the real world, obviously, this is not a problem. Congratulations, Ben, you officially look old enough for a security guard not to check your ID at a club. When it comes to a movie though, this is absolutely a massive problem because he looks about 5 years older than everyone else. It just didn't really look right. And this wasn't really a problem when I was watching the trailers. It didn't bother me. It only bothered me when it was right in front of me on the big screen and I could see it clearly. The way Ben will do subtle things in his performance, like closing his eyes when he sings, or opening them up wide to show emotion, or moving his hands around a lot, and his vocal range will change depending on what he's singing. This works really well on stage because he's performing it to an audience, but does it really work on screen without breaking the fourth wall? Yes, and also not really. Don't get me wrong, there are some times where he does take that experience from stage, and when he puts it into a scene, it really drives it forward. Only Us, Waving Through a Window were great because it allows you to perform it more. But a point where this doesn't really work is in For Forever, because he's just sitting at a table talking to this family. It's hard to do a Broadway performance just sitting down. Even in the stage show version, he actually does get up and performs it to the audience. And again, the movie does try to replicate that. Evan gets up and starts belting out a song in the dining room. But because this is a movie and not a stage show, it doesn't work as well. Even when he tries to open his eyes wide to show emotion, it just looks like he's staring down the person opposite to him at the table, which personally, I would feel quite uncomfortable. Please, Evan. Tell us something about it.
Tallest tree from far across the yellow.
Are you waving through a window?
So high, 1 foot after the other, one branch, then two.
I feel uncomfortable.
True friends on a
Please stop staring.
perfect
Perfect day. Wait, hang on, didn't you say you broke your arm? But if we look at the movie as a whole, I think Ben Platt did the best he could, considering the circumstances. Some things don't really work when you put them to screen, but I don't think this is so much Ben's fault and more of the director's fault. I think Ben did the best with what he was given. It's a little jarring at times seeing this adult man playing this teenager, but putting that aside, I don't think his performance is bad as some people are saying it is. And that goes for all of the performances in this movie. Caitlin Dever, sensational as Zoe. Colton Ryan, terrific as Connor. Nico Darnley, hilarious as Jared. Amanda Stenberg, a standout as Alana. Amy Adams as Cynthia, emotionally brilliant. Danny Pino as Larry, very effective. Julianne Moore was there, I guess. I don't know, for such a talented actress and the impact Heidi had in the original production, they really don't give her much to do in this movie, which is a shame. But that aside, easily my favourite performance in this movie was Caitlin Dever as Zoe Murphy. The depth and emotion that she brings to the character of Zoe is truly sensational, and you can really tell that she's conflicted with everything that has happened.
When he disappeared for 2 days, but then he called me and asked me to come pick him up. He wanted to come home, but he wasn't ready to talk to you yet, so I took the bus all the way downtown to get him. And guess what? All he really wanted was money. And I gave it to him because I was 12.
When she's singing Requiem, you can tell that she's giving everything to that performance. It is really powerful. And honestly, I thought all of the songs carried a lot of emotional weight to them. And that was all to do with the performance aspect of the film, and the way it was carried out, you could really feel what they were singing. Starting the film with Waving Through a Window, I believe just works better because it's the perfect way of introducing the main character to the audience. Sincerely Me, You'll Be Found, Only Us, If I Can Tell Her, Words Fail, I thought were all pretty good. Even the anonymous ones and A Little Closer, 2 new songs that were brought into the movie, really stuck with me, and I thought they were great additions, and it really added an extra layer to the story. I can see why they cut out To Break in a Glove because, well, it's a song about breaking in a glove. But cutting Good For You was a big mistake, because that is the song that calls Evan out on all of his mistakes. It was really a missed opportunity not to include it. But I guess some things have to be cut. Actually, it was a big mistake. They really shouldn't have cut it out. But with what they left in and included, I overall thought the songs were pretty good. It is a little jarring how they start singing randomly mid-sentence to try and segue the song into the scene.
The way that you smile, it's sort of like you're letting us in on the secret, too. He said...
Yeah, they probably could have done a better job with that one.
I like you because you... I don't need you to sell me on reasons to want you.
Going from dialogue to a song can be difficult, but you know what? I reckon I could do better.
Dear Evan Hansen, today is going to be an amazing day, and here is why. Because today, yeah, sorry. How do I get into it?
What do you mean?
The song, you know, I need some sort of transition into it. I can't just, you know, start singing.
Why not?
Yeah, well, I know I could, but like that just doesn't sound right. You know, there needs to be some sort of, you know, segue into the song. I mean, you're the director, surely.
Okay,
you
look,
know.
man, if I'm completely honest with you, I actually do action. Okay? I've never even seen Dear Kevin Banston. Alright? Just say anything. Don't even like musicals.
Oh yeah, sure, totally. Yeah, I got this. Great. So once I was learning to drive, and out of nowhere, this dog just came out into the middle of the road. Yes, and I accidentally put on the accelerator and hit it. So that is why I've learned to slam on the brake.
That was terrific. Yeah, I knew you weren't so old for the part. I'll work on that. And while there's a lot of things that the movie didn't do as well as the stage show, I honestly think in some areas it did actually improve on it. In the stage show, there was always this moment at the end of If I Can Tell Her, where Evan kisses Zoe, and it's just a really uncomfortable moment, to say the least, to start their relationship. And in the cinema, as If I Can Tell Her was coming to a close, I'm pretty sure I said out loud, "Don't do it. Don't 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 do it."
Hello? Oh, you beat us.
God.
Zoe, can you help?
And instead, their relationship doesn't actually start until Only Us, which is a small change, but very effective. Evan and Alana's connection was something that was absent from the original stage show, but here I think it really adds something to the whole message of you are not alone, and it gives the two characters something to relate over, and it gave room for Alana's new song. Now, I know that the original musical did have its fair share of funny moments, but I did like how the movie did balance pretty dark themes with a comedic presence that was felt throughout the film. And for that reason, Jared was one of my favourite parts of the film. He was absolutely hilarious.
Hansen, Kalwani, pick it up!
No, thank you.
What was that?
I said thank you for the encouragement.
And yeah, that basically covers my thoughts of Dear Evan Hansen. I know people were divided over this film, and I do see why some people might not have enjoyed it as much as others, but I still think I can ignore some things and look at this film as a whole, which I believe to be pretty good. Not my favourite movie musical of all time, but overall, I had a pretty good time with it. But I think there's only one true way to present my overall thoughts on this film. Wait, no. This was a bad idea. Lewis, cut, please. No, this was a bad idea. I don't really want to do this.
Dear Evan Hansen, while this movie didn't suck, it wasn't perfect, but I guess they just ran out of luck. But I can confirm that with one simple click, I'll be on Reddit posting Evan and Connor fanfics.
Why would you write that?
Hey, I'm just trying to make it fun.
What? No, this has to be a serious review about why this film isn't actually that bad. It has to be serious and professional.
You know, there's nothing unserious or professional about fanfic writers.
Ugh.
You know, they're quite creative, you know. Just let me do it. I've gotta tell you that this film was actually fine. Was actually good. Was fun.
Good save.
And it covered a range of topics and other stuff Very specific.
Shut up.
I liked the music.
Said no one.
I loved the music. It was great, you gotta admit. It's not like you can write a song, so don't be a hypocrite.
Oh, wow, this is hilarious.
I thought the acting was good.
Good?
It was heartfelt enough, so I thought they did that right. The score's a breakthrough, despite cutting good for you. It's not that bad, can't you see? So all that it needs is a little comprehension. It wasn't that bad, so stop all the high tension. Overall, it was as good as it could have been. Sincerely, make sure to like sincerely me.